everybody, welcome. My name is Melissa and I am here to teach you this wonderful, fun, simple sprinkles on top raglan sweater. This is a perfect sweater for beginners, so if this is your very first sweater, you are in the right place. We have a free pattern that accompanies this class, so make sure you've downloaded that and look through it a little bit first. And let me just get started by explaining the construction of this sweater a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cast on the collar section right up here. So we're going to start by casting on a long tail cast on, and I'll show you how to do that. Then we're going to do this fun ribbing down to where the actual yoke of the sweater begins. So this part right here is the collar, and then right below the collar is where what we call the yoke starts. And the yoke is when we're forming this rectangular section here. So this happens because we're increasing stitches at 4 different spaces. And if I do this, you can kind of see where those increases are going to happen. And this is why this sweater is called a raglan sweater, because in a classic raglan sweater, there's only 4 points of increases right here. So we'll start forming the yoke by doing these increases, and every time we do an increase round, the sweater gets wider and wider and wider and wider until we reach our desired width for both of our arms and our bust size. So we'll get down to here, and then we'll just knit in the round all the way down. This is kind of the quick section here, all the way down, and we'll do our ribbing, and then we'll cast off at the bottom. Then we'll come back up here, and we will have left these stitches resting. So we'll pick up these live stitches, and we'll go ahead and knit in the round all the way down our sleeve and bind off, and we'll do the same on the other sleeve. So that's how we're going to knit this sweater. Okay, so let's get started in the pattern. If you have the pattern in front of you, you can go ahead and scroll down or turn to page number 3, and that's right here where the About Sprinkles on Top section starts. So this simple seamless raglan sweater is worked from the top down. What that means, so seamless, let's start with seamless. Seamless means that you are not going to have to sew anything together or stitch anything together to make this sweater. It's my favorite type of sweater construction. It's so quick and easy. The seamless is really the best way to go, in my opinion. And then top down, you've probably heard that terminology before too. All top down means is that you start from the top of the sweater knitting and you just work top to bottom, top down. Other sweaters will have you cast on bottom up, but that's not this sweater. This is top down. Okay, so go ahead and look with me first to the finished measurement section. The first thing that you're going to want to do is decide what size of sweater that you want to knit. So if you have your child near you and you can actually take a chest measurement, what you could do is take a measuring tape, and you're going to want to, like, let's pretend this is a child, not the sweater. So what you're going to want to do is wrap the measuring tape around the chest of your child, and you're going to want this to sit right underneath their arms, so in their underarms. And then you'll just see where this lines up. So this sweater, or let's call it my child, this child has a chest measurement of 24 inches. Okay, so that is their actual chest size. Again, please ignore the sweater. Just imagine that this is the actual child here. So imagine the actual child's chest size is 24 inches. Well, what you're going to want to do is look over here to your finished chest circumference. So finished chest size means that if you knit like this one right here, the first size, then you're going to wind up with a sweater that has a 20-inch bust size, a 20-inch chest circumference. So I had measured that my child has 24-inch chest circumference. So I'm actually going to want to choose a finished chest circumference size that's a couple of inches bigger than this. If I were to just knit this one, that would mean that the sweater is going to be skin tight on the child. It means that the sweater would be exactly 24 inches, and so there'd be no ease at all. Ease means that there's a little space from your actual size to the finished size of the sweater. So that gives you a little bit of room in the sweater. So I would choose at least this one, the 26 finished chest circumference, if your child has a 24 size bust. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 slots in, and then you can look right up here. 4 slots in would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd be knitting for a 2 to 4 year old. At least that's how the sizes line up. If the age of the child is different than the finished chest sizes, then just ignore the age. Just go with your measurements. But if you don't have your child near you, if you don't have any way of taking a measurement because, you know, maybe it's your friend's child or your grandbaby or anything like that, then you can go ahead and use these years as a guide for you. I will say, if you have, let's say like your child is exactly 6 months old, I would definitely knit the size up from that. So if your child is exactly 6 months old, then go ahead and do this size, because this is going to give the sweater a lot longer of a period to wear. Same if your child is 12 months old, then go ahead and choose this one, 12 to 24 months, and so on. And I hope that makes some sense. So now that you've chosen your size, I am personally, for this class, I'm going to knit the 0 to 6 months. So I'm going to do the very first size. So then you'd come and look at your material section. So how much yarn am I going to need to knit this sweater? Well, if you're knitting a 0 to 6 month like I am, then I only need 190 yards of 100% wool worsted weight yarn. If you're knitting the 6 to 12 month, then you will need 220 yards. If you're knitting the 12 to 24 month, then that's 1, 2, 3 in. You'll need 255 yards, and so on. Hopefully that part makes sense. Now, this pattern was written to hold this lace weight Make It Tweed by Rico Designs together with it, and I do have some of that right here. This is the Make It Tweed. If this is your very first sweater, or if you just don't want to knit this together with it, you can ignore this part. So if it's your very first sweater, I would personally recommend that you not hold this together with it. It'll just make it a lot easier for your first time to just be working with one strand of yarn. But if you did want to try this, I sell this on my website at www.farm2needle.com, and you can just search Make It Tweed in the top search bar and you'll find this. So it is super fun. It makes anything tweed. Super cool. It doesn't, because it's so thin, it does not add any gauge, any width to your gauge. So you can ignore this just fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now that you know how much yarn you're going to use, I'm going to swap over here. I'm going to use this guy. This is a worsted weight yarn. And if you're ordering yarn from me as well, you will get the yarn in a cute little baggie. You always get some cool like magnets, stickers, fun stuff. And in the note section, you can tell me if you want me to wind your yarn, and I wind your yarn for free. No worries, it's my pleasure. So this is a worsted weight yarn, and I'm gonna need size US 6 needles and size 8 circular needles. And I'm going to need a 16-inch cable and a 32-inch cable. So I have really great needles and cables on my website. I love Likee. And again, if you're kind of new to knitting, then I have these amazing Likee wood needles. This is the Umber set, and you can just go and pick out what you need. I've got US 6 tips, I've got US 8 tips, and you'd also need your cables. This is a 32-inch cable, and the fun, awesome thing about my cables is that they are swivel cords, so they pivot around this joint right here, so you don't have to worry about it like accidentally unscrewing your yarn or unscrewing your cable while you're knitting and then all your stitches drop off. That's never fun. So these are excellent and I highly recommend them. Again, you can go to my website and grab these if you would like. And then you'll also need 8 stitch markers. Okay, so I've got some cute fun stitch markers there, and you'll also want 1 stitch marker that is not like the others, and that will help you see your beginning of round. So I've got a little cute ducky. I sell all these on the website as well, of course. Okay, and then we'll need some scissors and a darning needle. Oops, so that looks like that. Okay, and our US 6s. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe. You can support my work by shopping my patterns on Ravelry or farm2needle.com, where you'll also find high quality yarn and supplies. I truly appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.